240398, the people versus Kimberly McCallier.
Aaron Wagman on behalf of probation.
Good morning, I'm James Guzicki on behalf of the defendant. Your Honor, we've gone over the rights to a hearing. She wishes to waive those rights under a plea of guilty to charges, Your Honor, and speak to the court prior to the sentencing.
Ms. McCallier, are you alert and aware today? Are you sure? Okay. Do you understand the allegations against you? What are they?
That I dropped her and I didn't show up for testing, and she said I plagiarized my essay.
Okay. So you submitted a positive drug test for fentanyl on 4/24, that you submitted plagiarized essay as the result of your sanction from a previous violation on 4/16, that you failed the drug test on 4/26, and you failed to submit a PBT on 4/26. Do you understand all those allegations?
Yes.
Okay. The influence of something now.
No, I'm just so depressed. Like I'm losing my mind.
Did you read this 2-page violation advice of rights form?
Yes,
Did you understand all of your rights?
yes,
Did you sign and date the back of this form?
yes,
Ma'am, you understand you have Mr. Guzicki here with you. You'd have a right to a contested violation hearing if you wanted one, where the evidence against you would be disclosed. You'd have the right to be present at the hearing to present evidence and to examine and cross-examine witnesses. The court would consider only evidence that is relevant to the alleged violation, but it need not apply to the rules of evidence except pertaining to privileges. And the prosecuting attorney would have the burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence that those allegations occur. Do you understand all of that? And you understand if I find you violated your probation, or if you plead guilty or no contest to the violation, I could continue your probation, modify the conditions of your probation, extend the probation period, revoke probation, and impose a sentence of incarceration. Do you understand all of that?
yes, I do.
How many violations does Ms. McCallier have?
This is Ms. McCallier's fourth.
Okay, so you could get the maximum jail time on this offense. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, to the allegation you tested positive for fentanyl on 4/24, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the allegation that you submitted a plagiarized essay from a previous sanction that occurred on 4/16/24, how do you plead?
I Googled what it means to do drug testing and recovery, and I wrote some of that down, but I did add some of my own words, so I didn't completely understand that.
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, did you plagiarize the essay or not?
Yeah, I guess guilty.
I don't want you to guess. Did you plagiarize the essay or not?
Yes,
Did you fail to drug test on 4/26?
yes,
Did you fail to submit to a PBT on 4/26?
yes,
Okay. Is that a guilty plea then?
yes,
And guilty to failing to drug test?
yes.
All right, Ms. McCallier, it's my understanding that you do not want to be part of the treatment court program any longer.
It's just too hard.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It is hard. Recovery is hard. And it's super hard when you're doing fentanyl. Like, right? She's doing 4 days in jail forthwith.
I can't go to rehab. I have a bed today.
You're going 4 days jail. You're gonna come back here on Friday when you're discharged from jail. And when you're released from jail, we can discuss what your treatment options are.
I want to be in jail. I don't want to go to jail.
Okay, we'll see her back on Friday. Ms. McCallier, you're to turn yourself into this court. Your sentence is 4 days in jail and report immediately to this court upon release.
My sponsor's in the car. Can someone call her and tell her?
Can we allow her to make a call so she can let her sponsor know? We'll let you make that call, Ms. McCallier.
Yep.
So where do I stand on Friday?
You're gonna come to this court on Friday. All right, this is 240643, the state of Michigan versus Antoine Carter.
James Guzicki on behalf of Mr. Carter, after speaking with the prosecutor, we're going to set this matter for a settlement conference. Also like to address bond.
He has what's the bond now? Oh,
60,000, 10%.
Okay, so we'll set it with the settlement conference with the complaining witness to appear. As Mr. Gazicki has to bond.
Bond, I'd ask for a personal bond with a tether, Your Honor. He cannot raise the $6,000 to post a bond in this matter.
All right, well, he had one, like, conditions of bond for a assaultive case. And the condition was that he not have any contact with the complaining witness. I would note that the defendant has prior convictions for firearms. And he was actually arrested at the victim's house when the neighbors are alleged to have called the police because of a disturbance at the one place he wasn't allowed to be. So he does not comply with court orders. He made a decision. He knew he wasn't to be there. He went there, and I am not modifying bond. It's an assaultive case. He's got a prior weapons conviction, and he had one thing he couldn't do, and he did it. And I believe that he's a danger to the community. Thank you. We'll get a date as soon as possible.
Thank you. On a violation of probation, Ms. Bechtel is going to plead guilty to the admitting to consuming alcohol, also testing positive, and owing a balance of $1,500. She's having a little financial problems. As for the marijuana, Your Honor, she's aware of the test result. She indicates she wasn't smoking. She was in the presence of other people that were smoking. And I don't know if that's how they can be acquired.
I just have a violation in front of me for alcohol.
The marijuana test, I got today. I spoke to her right before. She wants it sent to the lab. So I sent it to the lab and I put it on the file.
Amanda, one of your conditions is you're not supposed to be hanging out with people that are using. I mean, like, that's one of the things. So like the argument I get, I'm just letting you know. First, listen to me. First off, I have heard it all. I have heard it all. Okay. But second, I want you to understand that if your defense is, I didn't smoke marijuana, I was just clam baking in a car with a bunch of people who were smoking marijuana, that is no defense. Because one of your conditions is you're not supposed to be around that. And if he's not helping you through this, then he is part of the problem, because he has been through this program and he knows what you're in for. Do you hear me? Mr. Mooney, I'm talking about you. Like, I can't control what you're doing, but you're going to take someone else down with you now. So, okay. So we're not addressing the marijuana today. We're just addressing this allegation that she tested positive for alcohol on December 30th and admitted to consuming alcohol on December 27th. All right, so as to that allegation, how do you want to proceed?
I'm guilty. I did drink. I only had a couple sips, but it doesn't matter. It's not right.
I know, but you
really
had more than a
took
couple
my
sips. You had more than a couple. See here, Amanda, like the first thing you need to work on is like your honesty with yourself. Like, you're not tricking me.
No, I didn't.
Here's the thing. If you just took a couple little sips, you took a little slurp of booze on the 27th and an even with the ETG test, for you to still be testing positive on the 30th, you took more than a few sips. Because the test was 3 days later.
Yes, I did have, I didn't have a full drink, but I did have it. I did drink. I ruined my almost 7 months sobriety, and I understand that.
Well, you're not really surrounding yourself with good people. If you're surrounding yourself with people right now that don't recognize or completely, let me say this differently. You're surrounding yourself with people who 100% know what you're dealing with, what the consequences are, and they're not knocking a drink out of your hand and saying, what are you doing?
We were at a family thing, but they did not, I can't, they don't know that I was on probation. It was not their fault.
He
I'm the
knows.
one that.
It was his family you were with. He knows, and he's been here before. I don't know who I'm more disappointed in right now, to be honest.
I should have told him, let's go, when it started bothering me.
You need an exit plan. If you're
I
gonna
know.
be in a relationship with someone who's using, and you have gotten this far, you need an exit strategy. You need to know how you are, not him, you, how you are going to get out of situations like that.
If I may, as Ms. Bechtel indicated, she had 7 months of sobriety. She blew it, but the fact that she's trying, I see from the file, she's in the process of being screened for sobriety court. And I think everybody would agree that that's what she needs. She needs the support and the guidance that the court could provide for her. Also, we're asking, Your Honor, since this is like the first major violation, 5 days incarceration, seems kind of extreme. She does work, and obviously it's going to affect her employment. All we're asking for, Your Honor, we can change it to community service or 1 day in jail just to give her a wake up and let her, pursue the sobriety court. She's going to a guidance center. So I think her track record shows she has tried. She really messed up, but she has tried. And
Yeah, she doesn't sound like she has a very good support system,
I agree
and
with
that's
that.
probably a big part of the problem. Ms. Bechtel, before, I'm gonna give you a chance on your plea. I wanna make sure you know this, because I didn't say it until Mr. Gizicki reminded me. This is your third technical violation, so I could give you up to 15 days. Okay, I wanted to make sure you were aware of that, okay? I'm not going to, but I have to make sure that I put that on the record so you know. So what are we gonna do?
We can do drug court if you
Who
want.
do you live with?
Right now, I'm in the process of, my dad got screwed over the lane contract. So I'm at the process of helping my dad. And I really can't go to jail. I will lose my.
Amanda, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with you. Who do you live with?
I live at my grandfather's with my son,
All right, so how old's your son?
6 years old.
So you have a 6-year-old son and you live with just your grandpa and your son?
My grandpa, and my brother,
Okay, how old's your brother?
40. But he works every day. I mean, Hunter can go with Matt if I do go to jail.
I am trying to figure out what's going on with you. Okay, because now we've got the marijuana use and Amanda, are you,
I shouldn't have been around. I know, I
you're
went
on
7
probation,
almost 7.
when we're talking about jail time, what was her last violation?
I believe it was a positive,
No,
one of
Did
her
she
violations
miss?
was a positive.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, so she got a day of court watching for a violation.
And marijuana was at the beginning.
Yeah, and then missed testing, missed an appointment with me. I wasn't here for the last violations.
She had a late PBT and missed an appointment. That was her last one. Yeah, you had a late PBT.
here it is.
Hold on, don't talk, let me read these. And then you had the marijuana use. Okay, look, you're early on in your recovery. You're early on. I don't expect you to be perfect, but Amanda, I expect you to try and to you gotta try. Right? And if you are around people where you feel like you're not ready for that, here, I'll tell you, you're not ready for that. You're not ready to be in circumstances like that. There's a whole process people go through when they're in recovery, right? You need a period where you do not surround yourself with those people until you have the tools to know how to get out of that situation and to know how to make good choices, or to have a plan for what you're going to do when you feel tempted and you don't have any of those protections in place. So you're just like out there, you know, without any of the tools, with people you shouldn't be around, that do not support you being in recovery. And, you know, that's really concerning. So what are we gonna do? Where do you work? You work full-time?
Different schedules.
Okay.
Your Honor, I thought at 7 months, I thought I was able to be around it. It's only 7 months, so I didn't look at it like that. And I take responsibility for relapsing. But
Yeah, but Amanda, like, here's the thing though, listen, like, there's a difference between being sober and not using and like being in recovery, right? Like, one of them is like, you're just not doing that thing. The other way is you're learning tools and you're finding coping mechanisms and you're doing all of this work that goes into it. So, and I don't think you're doing that. I don't think you have been. I do think you need to be screened for treatment court. I think it would be good for you. Because now you're on standard probation. Is she an ISP?
No, she's standard.
But it's clear to me right now that you have a problem, because when I have people that have offenses like yours, generally speaking, when someone knows I can throw them in jail for 90 days or 93 days, like, that's enough incentive to keep them from using, right? And when people continue to use, I'm literally, hey, you just told me doing 5 days would ruin your life. What would 90 do? 3 months in jail. Right? And you would risk that. You would risk that over a drink, or to smoke some weed, or to hang out with people that want to get you in trouble. Like, you are making choices that lead me to believe that the services being provided to you right now are not sufficient. So I want you screened for treatment court. That's happening.
what is that? Your Honor?
Sobriety court.
It's
Sobriety court, like
Yeah.
Matt used to go to.
Mhm.
It's
A
not.
lot of times it works. A lot of people continue to have a productive life in recovery. So it's not, and it gives you an opportunity to have all kinds of resources that wouldn't otherwise be available to you, right? And get you specialists, get you people who understand addiction to work with you.
Yeah, I probably do need that, because like I said, it was almost 7 months.
Yeah.
January 1st would have been 7 months. I messed up. He does not drink. I just want you to know that. This was on me. It's on me. It was my fault. He does smoke weed. I shouldn't be around it when he's smoking. He's got his card, but that's mine. And it was my fault.
I'm just giving him a hard time because
I
I
know.
know him. I know him really well.
I just don't.
And I know that he knows what you're going through.
He should-
And I would not, if I was with somebody who was in early recovery, who was under a court supervision, I would be like, you know, we're gonna get out of here. This isn't a good place for me to have you right now, because I understand the consequences of your actions and you don't seem to have any self-control. That's what I'm disappointed in. But ultimately, it's you. I'm not gonna give her 5 days in jail right now. When can she be screened? When can we handle all of that?
I have appointments this afternoon. I can screen her. It's gonna have to be next week.
All right. You're gonna come to my women's status hearing next week, Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. And we start at 8:30, not 8:34. You're gonna be sitting in these benches in my courtroom by 8:29. You're gonna be in here, and I would plan on 8:25. You cannot be late, Amanda, or I will put you in jail.
Okay. And I
You're gonna
say, I'm
come?
coming to judge.
I want you to just come to one of the women's status hearings, okay?
Yes.
And then you're gonna court watch a day too. And then in lieu of 5 days in jail, I think that's more than generous. But I think you might benefit from seeing what we do in the women's group, and you might actually be like, oh yes, this would help me in life. Okay, and I think even while you're being screened, it's not a bad idea for you to just come and join us. And then the court watching, you're gonna do that within 14 days. 1 day of court watching. All right, and the referral. You can do this. And if you have to do it all by yourself, then do it all by yourself, okay? But you can do this.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will see you Monday morning, because I got court watch.
All right, yeah, you'll talk to Kara on the court watching, and then Tuesday morning, you will be here on time, right? Ms. Bechtel, 0830, military.
Oh,
Okay,
Thank you,
good.
Your Honor.
Okay, don't screw up.